Yeah, there's a lot shifting, a lot of things happening collectively, personally. I like what you said about the 12-strand DNA, the 24-strand DNA. Yeah, you can feel a lot of this stuff in our in your bodies too. It's not just like there is the energetics, there is like all the stuff that's happening in the stars and the zodiac and the sky at night. If you're tracking and follow along, there's like 3i, Atlas too, that's kind of like traversing our local solar system. So that's been really fun and interesting to kind of channel into and like listen to the different talks that people are giving on it. But yeah, I think it's a very important message, and I love that JJ made it the theme for this month. So we're gonna weave with our community activations with JJ. If you're listening to the playback, we are connected to her community and other communities as well, but primarily most of us have met in the activations with JJ's community, and this month the theme is quantum restoration. Yeah, quantum restoration. We've been kind of chatting about last week. Just a quick recap, we tapped into the frequency of the Galactic Historians Conference. We did some channeling that was attached to that, and then also always tapping in with the Galactic Children, and then we talked about galactic reharmonization, and we did kind of like a guided meditation and then an activation for the frequency of harmonizing. So this week we're going to basically switch it up a little bit, and instead of doing the guided meditation or activation for this series, we're going to do kind of a more deep dive and really get into like what does it mean, like quantum restoration versus reharmonization, and we've even been talking about on some of the calls reclamation as well, like reclaiming. So I'm really excited. So by the end of this meeting today, we should all have a significant understanding on quantum restoration, reharmonization. Again, I'm not the expert. I'm just kind of leading this discussion. And if you guys want to, we'll open our sacred space here together. But if you want to like grab a pen, pencil, write some stuff down, it's going to be kind of like a discussion. And we'll kind of chat out. So there'll be 3 different points where we'll break it up into discussion. So that'll kind of break it up. So are you guys excited? Are we excited? Feel free to like react or type into the chat what you're feeling or what's coming through for you. So let me share here. Yay. Thank you, Aurora. Let me know if it's too bland without the music, if we need some music, but let's see, full screen mode. You guys feel free to unmute. It's an intimate crowd if we want to chat here. All right, so can you guys see that okay? Let me know. Yes, we good? Okay, perfect. Yeah, so, and I'm proud to say that a lot of the pictures, most of the pictures are mine, my actual like generated photos. Some of them aren't, but like most of them are. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. So we're going to start out with quantum restoration. Oh. Returning to the original divine blueprint. And I'm not going to read all the slides, but I am going to. Let me kind of get some of this out of the way here. Okay. So quantum restoration is the process of realigning, reactivating, and reintegrating the original organic kind of divine blueprint, basically, the original organic divine blueprint. Deep restoration of your energetic architecture. Another word for that is your energetic template. And just like Aurora shared with us earlier, the organic divine blueprint. Restoration of, we've all been kind of talking about exactly like Aurora mentioned earlier, the DNA, 12 strand, 24 strand, and even higher. And then also there's been this frequency of cellular remembrance. We've been noticing this kind of remembrance frequency started coming in like, maybe June, maybe July, maybe for some of us if you're listening on the playback, maybe it was a little bit later, and that's okay too, but we've all been noticing that in some way. And then, so not only cellular remembrance, but also like our own personal, like our soul remembrance. And then the primordial essence, returning back to the most pure, undistorted state. So pre-distortion, pre-fractalization, prior to, like it says there, trauma density or any of the collective programming. All right, this slide is really busy, so I'm just going to we'll just hit the highlights. There's not a picture on here, which is kind of a bummer, but we'll just do the best we can. So we talked about the original template, original divine blueprint. Restoring sacred geometry and harmonic resonance of your human template, including the 13 chakra system, light body, and your auric field. Actually, before we go there, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute here, and let's just open space together. I always like to be very intentional with our sacred space. I'll share some music here. Let's just open space, and then we'll press on with the PowerPoint show. All right, settling into your space there. Can you guys hear the music okay? Do I need to go up a little bit? Turn it up some. Yeah, let's open our space together, starting to settle into your body, settling into your breath. Feel free to tone, hum, buzz, speak light language. Whatever it is you use to open your central channel, your central pillar. Inviting in our guides. Starting to follow the rhythm of your own breath. Not just like listening to me breathe, but finding your own breath in through the nose. You can hold, focusing on your third eye. And then breathe out. There's like, I'm already starting to feel some like neck. Starting to get those wiggles in. Get that spine moving. The spaces in between your spine. You can lean back in your chair or wherever you're sitting at right here, watching the playback. Maybe cactus the arms like this. Pretend like you're squeezing like a quarter right in between your shoulder blades. Inviting in our guides, our higher, highest self, highest, purest essence, God, source, creator, frequency of 12D Armatena. Some dragon frequency as well. Metatron, Michael, Uriel. Taking some time here to invite your guides in that you work with. Welcome in, Tatiana. Take some time in here and invite in your guides or helpers. your council, continuing to breathe here, calling in the 4 directions, north, south, east, west, as above, so below, as within, so without. Galactic star families, pertinent multidimensional soul aspects that are here to assist you with the frequency of quantum restoration and quantum reharmonization, asking them to step forward as well. The galactic children always, welcoming them in. All of the children are galactic harmonicians. Four directions, north, south, east, and west. Inner Earth Council. Healed Indigenous, right ear confirmation. Your star families, your personal or galactic council as well. Starting to take some time here and call forward with your awareness, your intention for our session today. We always like to be intentional with our sacred space. Breathing that intention in on the inhale. Holding it in our heart space, maybe even hands on the heart, and activating your intention on the exhale. Another breath, breathing in your intention with your inhale. Holding it in your heart space. Activating it with your out breath on the exhale. Feel free to call in your quantum pillar of light to anchor you in your sacred space. There, you are safe. You are seen. Just sending deep gratitude and love to every single person on this call here and those who are joining us in the astral at this time, those who may be weaving with us on the playback as well. Know that you are here with us in this now moment. We see you. We weave with you. We welcome you into our sacred space. And then any last minute intentions or calling in you need, take that now. Now we're going to go back to Go back to our Tatiana, we're doing kind of like a different setup today. We're going to do basically a kind of deep dive on the frequency of quantum restoration and quantum reharmonization. This was the, this was our first slide, talking about quantum restoration, returning back to the original divine blueprint. This is a busier slide, but we'll just kind of hit the highlights here. This kind of explains the core elements of quantum restoration. And then if you want to get out like a notepad, crystals, cards, feel free. At the end of each section, we're going to kind of have some discussion questions, and we'll all just kind of unmute and talk amongst ourselves and kind of chat about that. So there'll be like 3 sections that we'll break it up into. For the second point here, timeline realignment, collapsing any distorted or fragmented timelines. And by closing off or reharmonizing or reweaving those timelines, you're regaining that coherence across all incarnations, dimensions, realities, spaces, and the spaces in between. Bringing yourself back into, this is your essence, back into that 0-point field. You know, we always are kind of like thinking through the lens of the unified field, morphogenetic field, the unity consciousness frequency. Moving on to the third one here, and I'll let you guys just kind of read over some of these too. I won't read them all word for word. We've all been kind of feeling this kind of like cellular DNA activation, remembrance, even like subatomic. We were talking earlier in some of the chats about like there's RNA, cellular remembrance, and all of these like have different sensations and feelings like in the body. And some of the stuff it talks about there is like some of this is like ancestral, some of it's not even like this timeline. So you may be experiencing some of these things that are happening like within your body as you're going through this frequency of remembrance, and you're noticing like, oh, maybe something is coming up, like emotions are coming up. And a lot of these times as you're going through, like say you have an MSI session, or you just have a soul kind of walk-in or an integration without like formally like doing an MSI, because these things happen all the time. When we're traveling, some of our friends are getting ready to go to Egypt, some of us came back from Egypt. And even like these sacred sites, these sacred, like these lands as you travel, like you just get really activated and you have this like soul remembrance, and you just inherently, you just know how to do this. For number 4, so I'm not really like into soul fragment retrieval personally. I think there is some, I think it's worth mentioning, especially in times of like significant trauma. You know, certain things can like fractalize. I guess the Harry Potter term would be like Horcrux in a way. If you guys are like Harry Potter fans, type into the chat what, or leave me a comment in the video, like what is your house in Harry Potter? I'd love to know. I'm Slytherin. I've passed 3 times. Big Kundalini. So yeah, calling back like lost fragments, reharmonizing those. You can do full integrations of soul aspects. For if you're listening to this and you're not aware of what a multidimensional soul integration is, a good way to think of it is like a soul walk-in without a walk-out. So when we do a multidimensional soul integration, or MSI for short, we're integrating these aspects of ourselves, parallel, past, future aspects of ourselves that are like attuned, calibrated, and are ready to be harmonized. And then connecting to the grid. We're all grid workers or light weavers, so we'll move on here. How does it feel? So I guess this is a question I'll pose to you, and feel free to write this down because it's going to come up again in the discussion. Natalia said, reincorporation of different aspects of our souls, different tribes we did belong to. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Maybe you're experiencing some of these sensations right now, and I'll let you kind of read over these. Again, I shared earlier, I'm not the expert on quantum restoration or reharmonization, but I have channeled a lot of this. I have experienced a lot of this, like personally, and a lot of us in this community are feeling the signs, symptoms. We're putting ourselves through these different like activations and initiations, and we're walking ourselves back through this frequency of, remember, it's towards unity consciousness. So rapid detoxing of old trauma, patterns, and loops. You may have noticed, June, July, August, September, there's been releasing of misalignments, whether they're like personal relationships, work. It becomes even a little bit more dicey when we're talking about like family dynamics, ancestral dynamics, that sense of like soul remembrance, a converging of timelines. And this is like, when it's like, hey, how do you feel about the converging of timelines? Like, how does that feel? A lot of this is happening. You may be noticing like signs, synchronicities during the day, seeing repeating numbers. At night, your dreams, like, I'll give you an example. In my dreams, it's like half the people I recognize in my dreams, and then like half of the people I don't recognize. And I'm like, Natalia said, reminds me of the Gaia Channel series Journey to the Soul. Look that up. So to me, it's like calling these timelines into convergence, into coherence, closing out or revising old timelines that are no longer serving me and serving you in the now moment. And then calling back your energy, calling back that frequency, calling back that vibration into you now. Deepen connection with Source, God, Gaia, your higher self. And then the embodiment. So the embodiment comes from, we're talking about like that ancient future self. You may have like inner wisdom, understanding, a feeling like peace. You may finally get some clarity after all these months. All right. Here's some practices that support the restoration frequency. So if you're coming here on our calls, I'm just going to read the chat, sorry. Okay. So Christina said, during JJ's live this afternoon, randomly started sewing, weaving on black paper. It looked nifty, and the presence of perspective has been present in the last few pieces. I'm feeling a lot of my essence coming back in whatever way, feeling prompted to call back and release energies often, sometimes multiple times an hour. I like that. I love the weaving, and I'll bring this up on the screen here in a bit. We can take a look at that on the video. So this is a good way to support yourself or to support others. We've been doing guided meditations, breath work always helps, grid work, visiting sacred sites, activating yourself at sacred sites. I'm sure many of you have felt the call to like get outdoors more, get into nature, maybe like sunbathing, sun gazing. These grounding practices really help like anchor your body, calm your nervous system, calm the mental body as well. We talked about like timeline revision and soul contract revision. So soul contract revision, if you're listening, is basically calling forward contracts, or soul contracts. You can do it with your personal record keeper or in the Akash, and basically revising it as the timelines get revised, updating those contracts. Sound bowl healing, channeling and weaving in sacred space, that's exactly what we do here. Okay, so this is going to be the discussion points, and I'll see if I can take it off of. Oops. So what we'll do here is this is where we'll discuss, so you can write down some of these questions. I gave us the answers for the first couple, and there's a second page. And this will help us just basically kind of drive home the frequency of quantum restoration. So how does quantum restoration help us like realign to our soul mission in or dharma? Another word. I think that's a Sanskrit word for soul mission. So that's a good, so feel free to write that one down and like journal on it. I'll kind of just chat about the answer here. We talked about this earlier, but you may have that like as you experience quantum restoration, or you're calling it in, you start to get some like really good clarity, inner clarity. You know, maybe things were fuzzy for the last couple months, especially around like the eclipses. We had the equinox. A bunch of like different transits are happening right now as well. And it hasn't been feeling that great. It's been like a little foggy, and now you're getting some, or you're feeling some clarity. We've talked about on the call too, how some of us are experiencing like our gifts coming in. So like new gifts all of a sudden, like you wake up and you're like, oh, now I know how to do whatever it is. For example, like some guy very recently that I just met, he started meditating back in March. Now he's leading meditations. This is that frequency of remembrance where it's like we don't need to like learn it. We can literally just through the frequency of quantum restoration, like remember it. Remembering these gifts, maybe it's like mediumship, channeling, oracle, healing, different gifts and abilities. Restoration, remembering why you came, and then the embodiment after the restoration. So once, this would be like the second question, once we restore kind of these aspects of ourselves, how can we embody this in our daily lives? That question has been asked to me specifically. It's like, hey, how do I like embody this? How do I not like forget what I've learned, you know, like when we were at a sacred site. There's a bunch of different practices out there, journaling, teaching others, creative expression is a good one, like painting, whatever it is that you use to kind of get into the flow state. And then what does living restored look and feel like? What does living restored look and feel like? And then this is the next set of questions. And this is what we can unmute and talk about. And I'll leave this up here and I'll kind of stop the share and you guys can feel free to unmute. I guess I have to leave it up so we can see it, but I'll feel free to unmute. And let's chit chat with one another, because I really want to get into kind of the co-channeling frequency of the discussion. So it's not like me talking at you, it's us talking together. If you're on the screen, it's like, what are some of the ways that you have called in personal restoration in your life? I'd love to hear about what are some of the things that you've closed out, whether they're like contracts, misalignments, timelines, calling your energy back, calling your vibration back, or and then we were talking about contracts or templates. So what contracts or templates must be cleared or revoked before full set restoration can take place? And I really, if anything, if you remember anything from these questions, like these 4 bullet points are like huge here, right? So revision of soul contracts that don't serve us. These are you know, like the Savior, White Knight, servitude, martyrdom, like forgetting, the veil of forgetting, closing out or clearing, false overlays, AI. This includes like AI, inorganic timelines, karmic loops or patterns, and then like ancestral stuff as well. Ancestral can be really heavy. It can be a huge burden. I'm sure a lot of you can speak to that, and I would love to hear what you've done for ancestral clearing. And then the last bullet point that I just want to like put an exclamation point on this, and then we'll turn it over to you guys, is restoration often requires clearing before reclaiming. So clearing before reclaiming, like exclamation point. So yeah, feel free to unmute. We can go popcorn style And I would love to just hear some of your thoughts on specifically restoration. How are you calling it in? What's been coming through for you? So feel free to.
Yeah, I'll go. Hi. Hi, everybody. Um, Thank you once again for opening us up and creating this beautiful space and creating these beautiful slides. Oh my gosh, they're so amazing. That one with the eye with the light codes around it that was blue. That was really cool. Um, it's interesting. This a similar question came up today in my women's group. So there's been a lot of discussion on kind of what we're letting go of and what we're releasing and what we're calling in. And for me, oh, did you just spotlight me and I just took myself off? Sorry.
Yeah, I
um,
spotlighted you. You're good.
oh, go ahead. Yeah, I thought I hit a wrong button. You can do that again if you want. For me, I feel like I am well, with the recent surgery I had, it brought a lot more flow of blood to my brain. There had been a lot of blockage. And so I got a big burst of energy and I was doing a lot of exercise and was feeling really great. And then I immediately got like knocked on my ass with just this incredible joint pain that I've been dealing with for like the last 6 weeks that I feel like is part of like the detoxification process that's now happening. Um, there was a lot of um, there was a lot of toxins that got stuck in my brain from the lack of flow, and so I've really been enjoying that 17-second meditation. Been using it for a lot of different things. And so one night I did the 17-second meditation to really help kind of clear and detoxify the brain. Um, and I ended up waking up in the early morning. I try to stay in this sort of liminal state in the morning. And that's where I'm kind of been receiving my messages. And I got a real clear download of like 4 different essential oils that I need to be using that really help like detoxify the brain and like clear open up blood circulation and so forth. So I've been using that. um, I've also been just cleaning out everything. I know that was a big theme during the eclipses. It was like this giant purge. So I'm doing that in my external life as well to just kind of reflect what I'm doing internally, just cleaning out closets, cleaning out the garage, cleaning out kitchens, just really kind of getting down to all the um, just refining things that I want to have, making sure that they're all meaningful. That's also going on in my personal life. I'm just we moved here about 4 years ago, and we had a big group of friends that was it's now kind of whittling down to just the people who I feel that I can really be my authentic self with. So there's not as much time spent trying to do everything that we're invited to with people that it's just very surface and there's not a lot that I can go deep with. It ends up being more draining for me. So I'm just being more careful and mindful of where I put my energy. And I am shifting. I feel like the new gifts that are coming in are still coming. I feel like, in my past, I've been in the healing arts for the last 25 years as an energy worker and acupuncturist. And um, the last 3, 4 years, I've been going through a lot of physical transitions and health stuff. So I think what's coming after this is still on its way, but I do feel more, I do get more auditory messages. I am having a lot more like heart opening and a lot, just working on just kind of releasing the guarding around the heart, and just feeling more um, softening and, empathy, and not feeling so much the need to, be loud and be seen and be talkative, but just kind of going within and sourcing myself, and um, remembering that I'm connected to source the more we go inward. So that's just kind of been my journey lately. So I'm complete. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. We would love to hear about the oils too that you've been using.
Oh, sure. They were, yeah, I used to use oil of oregano a lot when I was dealing with Lyme. Um, but I have not, it- I was using oil of oregano internally. Now this is more like external and inhaled. It's lemon or lemon balm, but lemon, eucalyptus, cinnamon, and fennel. Um, those are the ones that were specific to clearing the brain and opening up circulation. So fennel is also really balancing for like perimenopausal hormones. So I think that's got a twofold um, benefit for me, because there's a lot of joint pain that comes along with dips in estrogen that I'm feeling at the same time. So kind of riding that wave as well, which is interesting because as I'm going through that process, there's in Chinese medicine, we talk about being more fully connected and aligned to the divine when you are, past that point. There's sort of a threshold that you're stepping over. So I'm also kind of going through that at the moment. A lot going on.
Yeah, thank you. Did anybody else have something that they'd like to share from their questions? I can put the questions back up too if we need them before we move on. You don't have to share. I just really like to that when we discuss with one another. I think it really allows us to kind of co-channel. And what you got, Natalia?
It's interesting that you mentioned about the trauma, right? From clearing out everything that's from the old to bringing into the new. And um, it's a lot of medical things also that I can relate with Tatiana with the from this area, and in this area right here, it's connected to the heart space for me because I am clearing off the ancestral trauma big time from the maternal line. It's not from the paternal. And it's been an ongoing journey from the life, like from my life, that I get to complete this season. And I get to let go the fact that my mom was not capable of fully understanding me and giving me love the way I was anyone meant to receive a mother's love. And it completely came to completion when the energetical cord, not the umbilical cord, but the energetical cord was finally cut. I felt the shift within her that she was able to move forward and have compassion, have a forgiveness. So we were able to reconnect and have some kind of a conversation again without feeling that anger, that hurt, that pain. Because I was already detaching from it. I was doing my part, and it took her a while to fully felt energetically. So it came to a full circle. And it felt so good that I was able to connect with my grandmothers from both sides. And I felt their love as I'm embarking this journey of my gift in light language, love language, because it originated, I felt their magic interesting enough, both paternal and maternal grandmothers have the magic within them. They did not understand what it was. They did not know how to come about it. And with me remembering the remembrance of that origins, it brought me to whole, and I was able to voice it out in such a way. Hence, a lot of the uploads was pouring in. I was just kind of like, holy cannoli, what is going on here? And it is such a beautiful thing. And I was able to, another part of it is the thyroid problem for both generation, from all generational, that I was able to bring it into balance with just using natural remedies, oils, herbs, and whatnot. And my hormone was able to level up too. It's not level down. It's like, I don't know why, it's just level up. Does that make sense? It's like the helix of it, it's not spiraling down, it's spiraling up. DNA being recalibrated, upgraded, ascension, that's what I keep feeling. And it's not what we were seeing before. The shape of it's not even ribbons anymore. It crystallized in somehow, some way. We're becoming the crystalline being that we're meant to be. If that's all computing right, it's odd, and it branches out in so many different dimension. It's not even, oh, good Lord, there's so many facets towards it. I can't even comprehend. It's so beautiful what they're showing me, and it's just integrating more and more and more and more and more in each every day of our life. So full circle. And I love it that both you and I are into the oils, essential oils, and we're finding way how to heal ourselves. It's not just our physical being, right? It's also our higher self. It's our spiritual being that we're healing by using all of these oils and herbs. So with that, I'm complete. Thank you.
Wow, it's such a powerful testimony. I just want to witness you. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for sharing that powerful testimony, speaking that out into the field. Same with Tatiana as well. Such a powerful force, such a powerful, like, every time that you come on and we're able to like listen to your stories and listening to you like speak out into the field, like feeling the frequency of our sacred co-creation and sacred space is very, very, very powerful, super inspiring about the stories about like healing your body, activating your body, using like the earth, the elements to like assist our higher selves, our highest self, our oversoul as well, and then activating kind of this frequency of remembrance. We were talking about like the DNA and the cellular, like restructurization, DNA, RNA, subatomic, molecular, cellular, even like cellular regeneration. I was talking earlier with somebody, like post-jab too, right? And that's something different, but that is all within the umbrella of quantum restoration. And then we're going to move on to, and then welcome in Vincent.
Hold
Nice
a
to see you.
second.
Go ahead.
So, I have something to share about
Perfect.
the regeneration. So
Go for it. Sorry.
once you complete your healing process, you will stop aging. Because we know that if you are for the 12th strand DNA, the average age is 200 to 300. For the 24th strand DNA, the average age is 300 to 500. So once you completed healing, you will stop aging. And also you can start a regeneration process. So I carry the mRNA that can activate your telomere. So I don't know how. So I'm part of the I think the Andromedan is working on upgrading humanity's DNA. So I'm also part of the upgrading humanity's DNA, and I can help regenerate human. But I don't know how am I supposed to do it. But I know like recently I did the MSI, so I did a soul integration. Probably is to download my soul aspect that can better facilitate the humanity's DNA upgrade. And I was called to like spade in the liquid because my body fluid carries the mRNA that can activate telomere.
Yeah, can you imagine like living that long? I was like, I don't know if I want to be 200 or 300. I guess if like my body stopped aging, because I read something saying that like basically like you would look like they were talking about like these other star families where it's like once you reach the age of like 30s or maybe like 40s, that's what you just look like. You just stay that way and I was like, okay, like that may not be a little bit bad. I guess we'll see. But yeah, thank you, Aurora. Thank you for sharing that.
Can we pick what age we stop aging at?
Yeah,
Like
I don't
29,
honestly. What are you gonna stop at?
like 29 maybe?
Okay, 35. Okay, yeah. See, I'm 45. I'm the most fit I've ever been in my life, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so let's move
I'm
on.
much older than you.
Oh, well, in
You
human
believe
years.
that?
In human years. But yeah, let's move on. Let me pull it up here. And we're going to move on to quantum, let's see, reharmonization, quantum reharmonization. And then we're going to have let me make this larger. Okay. Yeah. There we go. So this is the definition that I got. Recalibrating your vibrational resonance of your entire multidimensional field, all timelines, space, soul fragments, and densities, so that every aspect is brought into coherent alignment. So this is right? This is different than restoration. Within the frequency of divine harmony, unity consciousness, and in that 0 point like stillness. All right. Here's some of the themes. I think there's 4 themes, and I won't it gets a little wordy, and I put the slides into the chat, so we'll just kind of skim through these, and then we'll get on to the discussion questions to kind of really drive it home. So reharmonization, it talks about the different fields. Each field carries its own signature, and then reharmonization kind of like synchronizes, brings these fields into coherence. Talk about like grading the heart mind, the womb sacral space. The auric field becomes more symmetrical and clear, free of distortion, self-doubt, or any of that like trauma looping. Nervous system has been really big in a lot of the calls that we've hopped on. A lot of people have been noticing the nervous system. The nervous system has been stepping forward. When you reharmonize your nervous system, you can hold and express the higher harmonics of source light. Timeline weaving and soul realignment, we kind of talked about this earlier. Many of us have noticed that as we are stepping into this frequency of remembrance, calling in restoration, calling in reharmonization, we're getting rid of like any overlooping, like overlapping, fragmented, misaligned, entangled timelines. We talked about the ancestral patterns and getting out of those like loops or programs that have kept us like stuck, calling those all of those different timelines into completion, and then kind of like braiding or weaving them, attuning and calibrating. Sometimes you may even notice, like here, we were talking about this earlier, so you may even have like trauma that's coming up that isn't even from this lifetime. So a lot of times you may notice it's like, oh, not, I won't say a lot of times, but you may notice it's like, oh, I'm feeling this. And it helps, talking with Rachel, it helps a lot of times just to name it. So like I was having some Atlantean remembrance when I was in Egypt. We were at the Red Sea, and it was like, okay, just name it, like trauma, and then like put it on the billboard. You know, grief was coming up as like a big one with Mintaka for whatever reason. I was like, I don't feel like this isn't my lifetime, but I'm experiencing this in the now moment, and it feels like it's in my body. It feels like me, but really it's that harmonization as we're closing, collapsing, remembering, just witnessing, remembering, and then witnessing and releasing it. You may notice that some of this comes forward, and then it talks about like braiding these into kind of like a harmonious integration. Not necessarily. Some of them you may need to like call into completion. Some of them we may need to like actually just hold space for that like divine alignment, for that highest like timeline. Clearing out like, you know, misalignment. So you can call it interference, misalignment, noise, unaligned energies. We talk about like, you know, we were talking about technology earlier, collective interference, artificial or inorganic, ancestral comes up once again. And then when you reharmonize, when you call in this reharmonization frequency, raising your frequency, which in turn raises our vibration, closing off any of those energetic leaks in our life, cutting the cords in a way, not just energetically, but like anything that is in misalignment. You may notice in your own life, you can think of times, you know, in the now moment, in the last few months, or the last 2 or 3 months, like what have I really felt called to step away from? Maybe you've been aligned to these things for like years of your life. Maybe it's been looping. Maybe you've had these looping patterns. And I'm thinking about patterns in my life. I'm thinking about patterns in like my close friend's life, where all of a sudden the last 2 months or the last 3 months, we've called them into completion and we've closed it out and we've stepped into our higher timeline, clearing out that distortion, which is huge. And then this enables signal reception. Moving on here. We talked about the light codes and the DNA activation. It's not just energetic reharmonization, but it's the frequency of embodying that reharmonization. Breath work, which has been so key for me personally, and I'm sure a lot of you that are listening here, has been great. Somatic movement has been amazing, to like very supportive. Acupuncture, meridian flow, heart-mind coherence, which you can get through like pure intention or just sitting in meditation. Heart opening, you know, like cacao. Yoga is heart opening as well. Toning, singing, your own personal light language is really, really huge, really supportive. And then a lot of people are like singing. There's been a lot of like singing, a lot of toning has been coming through as well. So multidimensional aspects that are stepping forward to support us. And then get your pen and paper out, because we're about to get to the discussion questions here in just a minute. The galactic harmonisticians, which we've channeled. Andromedans, which Aurora brought forward as well. Sacred harmonizers. The Pleiadians stepping forward in a loud way. The Octurians are, for me personally, have a soul aspect that is an Octurian. So the different upgrades that they can provide to us are like metaphysical tech. Lyra as well. And then planetary and elemental aspects. So the galactic whales or the dolphins, planetary or galactic, both of them have been really supportive. They've been coming through in all of the channels for me personally. And then we talk about like inner earth or the temples as harmonic like stabilizers or resonance chambers. And then all of the different elemental kingdoms, like definitely acknowledging them. Some practices that you may be using to help support your reharmonization frequency, or that we would recommend. So gridding the physical, mental, and emotional body. So some of the times you may notice, or sometimes you may feel like mental or emotional things kind of like looping. thought patterns or you know, just feelings coming up, and gritting all of these, gritting that into your physical body, it just makes you much more stable, much more grounded, much more like anchored into the now moment. The different types of breath patterns, which I was going to play golden ratio, but due to time purposes, we can just look that up later. Your light language, sound in many different ways, whether it's like going and receiving a sound bath, performing sound, tuning forks, and then co-channeling in sacred space. The womb to the heart and the throat has come up. The womb space has been, or the hara has been really prominent recently, particularly. And then obviously here in Limitless Creators, we love a good guided activation or meditation journey. Here are some signs you may be experiencing quantum reharmonization: having like sudden clarity, feeling like these emotional releases or like waves kind of going through your body. Been a lot of like ear ringing, pressure, like humming too, low level humming. Feeling like you're in alignment. It says like clicking back into alignment, but feeling like things are going to be okay. You know, maybe things have been like really dense over the last few months. Maybe you haven't had like a whole lot of clarity, or there's been like this feeling of uncertainty that you just can't shake. And then now, as you call in and you activate and you embody your reharmonization frequency, it's like, okay, things are going to be okay. Knowing that you are safe, knowing that you're held, knowing that you have friends here within our community and that we're supporting you, that we're cheering for you, and that you can like send us a message and we can hop on calls and support one another. All right, these are the discussion questions here. And we'll take, you know, 5 or 10. Well, we got plenty of time here, but I'm going to basically give you some of the answers at first, and then we'll move on to, so feel free to write these down, and I just want to chat about these with you. So how do these unresolved timelines create dissonance in our current energetic field, right? And what does it mean to basically like revise or braid or harmonize these timelines into the now moment? So you'll hear like people saying like closing, collapsing, but like what does that really mean? And when you say like, we talk about like in JJ's community, like weaving timelines, a lot of the times like, so what does it actually mean to like weave our timelines, like braid our timelines together? How is our nervous system, how is our physical body anchoring this embodiment frequency, or how are you feeling that kind of resistance in the nervous system? For me personally, I felt both. I felt some anchoring in my physical body, and I felt that kind of like mental body resisting, right? A lot of the times, like these things are happening in our body, and we'll talk about it a bit more here. I just want to kind of move on through the questions. And then how is like sound, light, and like templates, which you can get through like channeling, you can get them through like walk-ins, you can get them through soul integration sessions. How is that restoration or that reharmonization frequency? How are we using these like consciously for the third question? And then I'll leave this screen up and feel free to unmute and let's chat with one another. But how have you called in quantum harmonization in your daily life? And then I would love to know, like, what are you feeling? What are the emotions that are coming up? Tell me some of your thoughts, and like, how is this really anchoring in like the human being side of things? Because we are super multidimensional. We're so galactic, right? We're so spiritual, bro. We're so spiritual. But like, how does that actually land in your daily life? How does that feel in your 5D frequency as you're walking around and you're going to your job, or you're going to the gym, or you're speaking to your kids, or you're hanging out with your family? So yeah, I would love to hear that, and then I'll type these out into the chat so we can kind of chat them up. But feel free to unmute because I would love to just chat with you guys about it. So thank you.
So it's a really interesting question, and in a lot of ways, I feel a little schizophrenic. So I appreciate the idea of braiding or weaving. I have some pretty good awareness of a very most recent past life and other multidimensional aspects of myself, and lifetimes of persecution for when I was, fully embodying my gifts, and very, clear memory of a lifetime as a mother with a lot of kids and a farm and a cast iron frying pan that I made everything in, and other lifetimes where I'm fully embodied and not persecuted and, able to move energy and live in a very quantum way. So it's it's interesting walking through the day, you know, wanting to host a lot of people and caretake a lot of people and get out my, cast iron pan and make, some good cornbread, and then, step into my gifts as I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine, acupuncture, and healer, but then I feel very physically the memory of being persecuted for stepping into my gifts. So there's like this push pull that happens with that I've been kind of clearing and working with. And, then there's memories of, these higher golden timelines. So these are all thoughts and emotions that definitely weave throughout many of my days. And I have to be very conscious and aware of choosing what mindset I'm going to have, and reminding myself that I'm not going to be persecuted, and doing a lot of, self compassion, and bringing a lot of myself into the present moment. I've been listening to the Sophia codes on the audiobooks, and there was a recent key code that we were doing for the green Tara and the Emerald Ray. And the Om Tare Tutare Tore Soha is one of the chants that she was doing that I actually used to listen to in my early 20s a long time ago. And she mentioned that the one of the last syllables in that was ture, and that actually is calling more of yourself into this now moment. So as I'm doing that chant in my head, I'm, spending some extra time on the today syllables to just call more of my soul essence into this now moment, to try and kind of collapse and condense those other timelines into right now. I'm complete.
Yeah, absolutely. Witnessing that for you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, like I was saying, a lot of the things that you may have been experiencing that you shared with us, and that others here on the call, or if you're watching the playback or connecting with us in Telegram, I think it's important that we get on and we talk to one another and we share these experiences with one another, because it makes us feel seen, it makes us feel heard, it makes us feel safe to know that, like, oh, the things that Tatiana is experiencing, I'm feeling some of those in my body too, and I'm not alone. Because a lot of the times it's like it feels like we're in this like silo, or we're like this lone wolf and we're just going through this. But the truth of the matter is like we are the collective, we are very connected, we are gridded in many different ways to one another, and we are like highly calibrated and attuned as we get on these calls, and we're part of the same community. So it's by no surprise that as like way showers, light workers, star seeds, we're all kind of experiencing these different things happening. Even though we live in different parts of the world, we're experiencing that now, and it's really, really helpful, and it really helps you to like understand, like, okay, this is what I'm experiencing in my body. Like, I am very multidimensional. I have this remembrance frequency, like you shared about different previous lifetimes, or maybe it's like ancestral knowledge, right? Ancestral things, past or parallel or future lives. And it's like, how do I reharmonize that? How do I embody that in the now moment? Or do I really just need to like remember it, witness it, and then release it, and not really hang on to that like feeling of like trauma or feeling of whatever, you can name the emotion and really just like release it. So like name it, witness it, and then release that emotion. And sometimes, these emotions, they get stuck somewhere, whether it's the physical body, the mental body, and the emotional body. So it's super helpful to have all of these different modalities and friends and guides, helpers to help us. So thank you for that. And I'd love to hear what else is coming through for everybody.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick that one last thing that I've been called to do recently that's kind of tied to this is sometime completely kind of unplugged and kind of in the dark and no access to TV or, tech for a while. As I'm kind of being called to do that, to kind of collapse all those timelines into the now, almost like a full reboot of the computer. And I don't know if you guys follow, actually, I know you follow Kelly Kolodny because I see you in there, but she's in her 3 days of darkness right now. And I'm about to do her womb code on October 27th for 3 weeks. And it, yeah, it just feels like my husband's going to be gone and I'm going to have some time with nobody in the house. So I'm going to be doing some of this darkness. So it does feel like a time to kind of collapse all that and just hit the restart. So that's it.
Awesome. I can relate with that part right there, Tatiana. I was just mentioning to Fate earlier how I felt lately not being connected to the social media and just like be in my own energy and harnessing my own energy and just kind of process everything that's been uploaded through me because it goes so fast to the point that my mind is just like, what the frick just happened within my own being? Again, it's back to everything being recalibrated. And then for me to introduce someone else's um uploads is just not aligning with my being, if that makes sense. It's just let's process this first, all right? And then the connection with y'all and with JJ, because this is very potent. It is very powerful, and we're making history in the galactic system. Believe it or not, that's what I feel. Like this is more important than anything else that I have within my gift with the other connections and the aspects of the shamanic, right? So let's put that to the side and let's put this in the forefront. And I don't feel participating in anyone else's life because I used to participate in different live, and that opens up portals that anyone can reach, any other entity can reach in. So what I get to do was card carding, like basically cancel clear everything. Just legitly just I keep saying cancel clear. I rebuke you. I rebuke. It's a lot of rebuking. It's a lot of um, cleansing, and it's yeah. I did not want to watch anything. I did not want to listen to anything but certain frequencies, and even food that's being ingested. I'm being mindful too. So it's mind, body, soul connection through what we are intaking, right? And it's weird. I feel a lot of times that mm, the alone part, like am I in this alone? And it's playing to my psyche and it's mental health kind of comes in through big time. And then with the season change where the darkest time is getting introduced earlier and earlier and going longer and longer, it can seep through into the mind, into the emotional being. And I am thriving not to be in that feeling. And I am glad that I find this group, that I find this family, that I don't feel so alone, that I can reach out to my other Soul Star families, like, yo, come in, we have this, like, I have this connect. It was like, let's bring it in together. Let's weave it together, because a lot of us, I feel that we are in the spectrum, that we get overwhelmed so easily. Oh, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. And with that, I'm complete. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. Just wanting to witness what you shared with us there. Um, it can be, sometimes overwhelming, but knowing that you're not in it alone, and definitely acknowledging the part that you said about like the mental health too. So we talked about the mental body, the emotional body, the physical body. All three of these are very key. And as we're weaving these frequencies of particularly restoration and then quantum reharmonization, and able to like hop on calls and chat with one another and support one another in spiritual community, like it's key. It's so key. Showing ourselves like grace, showing ourselves the love, holding space for ourselves, but also like, don't be afraid to like reach out to your soul friends, your soul family that's here in community, and knowing that like you could literally send me a message and I will absolutely hop on a call and support you. And I guarantee you that anybody on here, if you shot them a message and said, hey, I know I don't really know you that well, but I would love to just like chat, you're going to get a response back, and you're going to get like a very like deep, multidimensional quantum response too. So I just want to kind of like put that out into the field, is like, no longer are we the lone wolf. We've activated like the wolf pack frequency, right? We've activated the frequency of the tribe. We show up for one another. We are here for one another. We're no longer like alone. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that share, and would love to hear anybody else have anything for us to share when it comes to reharmonization. We got just a couple more slides left, and then we'll kind of
So
tie it off.
in the past a few months, I have met with lots of people. So some of them have lots of past life trauma that need to be healed. And I also have met lots of healer. That's so like their soul mission is to healing people, so they can just heal all your past life trauma basically in like a 1 or 2 session, which is really amazing. But there do have those kind of healer that can do those really, really powerful healing. So I can write some recommendation. But now, so currently is not just to look for other people to heal you, is have other people help you activate your own healing ability. So like for example, some simple healing is your call in source light that it can just heal yourself. But I will write down some like a recommendation. You can look into those, so they will help you to activate your own healing power.
Yeah,
And,
thank you for sharing that.
and also in my energy field, I can just heal people. So I'm always being told that I should show my face, but I'm too shy to show my face. But if people look at my face being in my energy field, they will be healed too.
Yeah, well, feel free to hop on the camera and share that healing frequency with the Limitless Creators here. We would love to see you. I've seen you before, but again, no pressure. Whatever is most aligned for you. But just want to acknowledge, it definitely can feel overwhelming. There are a lot of supportive modalities out there. I myself am a Holy Fire Reiki Master. Lenny is certified for Unity Field Healing. I'm sure many of us here have many different modalities that are like super healing and supportive. I know Tatiana does the acupuncture. I'm sure many of you guys, and if you are a healer or you're wanting to, feel free to like type into the chat and let us know, like, here are the things that I can help you with. Any last from Christina, Vincent? No problem. Vincent says, I'm working on the fourth dimension astral, healing our soul aspects that are stuck there from our past lives. Yeah. Dude, absolutely. That's so critical, bro. Thank you. That's important work. Christina says, the most enjoyable theme has been enjoying the process more, making a game or challenge out of noticing different feeling states and how I feel that, and more noticing shifts away before I reach overstimulation or exhaustion, and then finding ways to have fun and be in the flow and go within. And love, love, love. All right, well, we're almost finished. We got like, I think 4 more slides, and then we'll basically wrap things up. And let's see. I have a couple more discussion questions here. Let me pull this up, maximize. Okay. So now we're going to talk about restoration versus reharmonization. Both of them, and I'll let you just kind of read over them. Both of them are healing-oriented processes. Both aim to reconnect you with original organic blueprint. Both involve the different like shifts in your vibration, your energetic field, your personal like divine alignment. Very multidimensional for both as well, across all timelines, dimensions, realities, and space, and the spaces in between. Also including like timelines, ancestral, and then it talks about nonlinear in nature, and then love-based. So heart coherence, both are rooted in compassion, divine remembrance, and your sovereignty. Here are some of the differences. So for me, I think it's nice to know, like, here are some of the similarities, and here are some of the differences for restoration versus reharmonization, key differences. Let's see here. I'm just going to read some of the chat. Okay, so Aurora, thank you. Restoration, like repairing, right? Returning or bringing back. Reharmonization, the focus is more on adjusting what is present but feels misaligned, right? Restoration can be rooted in trauma, fragmentation, reharmonization rooted in like energetic unbalancing or imbalance, emotional dissonance, or frequency conflict, interference maybe. Restoration feels like you're returning home or like a deep soul remembering. Reharmonization feels, it's much more about like recalibrating, like attuning for me when I'm thinking of like quantum restoration. Some good examples for restoration are like, we talked about like soul fragment retrieval, soul integrations, reactivating like your DNA, and then reharmonization is more along the lines of, it's a little bit different frequency, like chakra balancing, aura balancing, harmonizing timelines, closing out timelines, braiding the timelines, calling timelines into completion, and holding space for the highest timelines available, and whether that's like golden, diamond, crystalline, templates, and above. Divine union as well. And then kind of the end goal for restoration, reclaiming your original organic blueprint or like soul essence. Even like, to me, kind of the Barbello frequency is in here as well. And then higher resonance for reharmonizations. It's more about like the frequency resonance or higher resonance, and like the coherence in the actual field itself, or within your personal field too. All right, and then I have a couple discussion points here. to kind of, we can talk about for the last, and if you need to bounce, that's okay too. We got 30 more minutes left, and I'll type these into the chat. But I want to talk about like, so we're going to talk about restoration and versus reharmonization. So what's the difference? And I kind of gave some answers here. So shifting from like simply like reclaiming or restoring what was lost into really like harmonizing it, right? We talked about harmonizing that frequency, braiding that frequency, calling it into its highest alignment, its highest, purest essence, and then about the like greater unified field, divine order, divine will, discussing like, you know, there's always like holding space for the frequency of like forgiveness, grace, resonance in alignment with true unity consciousness, and then kind of moving beyond like repairing and into more of that frequency of like actual quantum reharmonization, right? So not just like in words, but calling that in with your intention, because your intention is like so key and critical on these. So how do we restore fragmented timelines, or how do we harmonize those within the lens of like unity consciousness, unified awareness? Restoration talks about like reclaiming, right, from like pieces of our soul, things that are misaligned or collapsing, closing out timelines. Reharmonization is more about weaving those into, it says diamond field coherence, sitting within like that 0 point neutrality, like calling it in from the 0 point. So taking what is like fully aligned, releasing the rest, sending it into the 0 point. And then one of the things that I wanted to kind of put an exclamation point on here, and you guys tell me, and feel free to unmute so we can chat about some of these things, and I'll type it into the chat here. Can we restore too many parts, and this is along with the frequency of remembrance, too quickly without harmonization? And I'll put an exclamation point. I guess technically it's a question mark and then an exclamation point, but can we basically do too much too quickly without the frequency of harmonization, right? So maybe you're reclaiming, maybe you're calling in, maybe we're like restoring, and we're talking, I'm thinking more of like the frequency of remembrance, where it's like you're having all of these soul aspects, all of these past, future, and present timelines kind of coming into your awareness. And can that feel a little bit overwhelming to like the mental body, the emotional body, or the physical body? Myself personally, I have felt that before, where it's like, okay, I channeled this, I'm ready to call in the frequency of remembrance, I'm ready to walk that path of like restoration, and then more recently within the last month, reharmonization. But then it's like, oh, my physical body is like feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling like there's questions about my own safety. Like my inner child is like, you know, like I tap in with my inner child and I check in with myself, showing myself that what it talks about there, like grace, forgiveness, holding space for myself. And it's like, man, this feels really overwhelming. Or maybe this feels like the dial, like JJ talks about. It's like turned up too much. Like it's turned up all the way. So do I need to like kind of turn that dial back down? So I'd really love to hear, and I'll type the rest of the questions here into the chat, some of your thoughts when it comes to, you know, restoration versus reharmonization, and also kind of like what you're feeling in the now moment. And, you know, it's we're just after the 10/10 portal. There is a lot of like convergence that's happened. A lot of things are like shifting and moving. So yeah, I'd love to hear what's coming through for you. Feel free to unmute and I'll type these questions.
I mean, yeah, I definitely feel like it's got to be in doses. I can feel a lot of the cellular restoration happening through the night, and upgrades through the sun during the day, and all just the energy hitting the planet and integrating in the body. And I just can tell when it's getting too much, and I just need to sleep a lot and just kind of withdraw and be quiet. I've been not really doing more than like, 1 or 2 calls a week and just trying to kind of manage my nervous system, which definitely gets overloaded really easily right now. So, yeah, I absolutely think you can do too much too fast, and um, managing it, and eating clean foods, and um, getting enough rest seems to be kind of the name of the game for me at the moment.
Same here. Yep, I concur with Tatiana. Rest, rest, rest. Align food, align beverage. That is definitely the key at this moment. And um, hmm, a lot of emotions flowing, a lot of different emotions, the push and the pull. I'm noticing between today and tomorrow that the correlation of the moon and Jupiter planet is also coming into view. They're getting very close. So anyone that has Jupiter in their house, that they might feel it um, quite a lot, actually, considering between today and tomorrow. And considering we just went through the whole moon energy, right? And then the moon being the Scorpio, that also intensifies things. And I feel between I want to scream at someone, legitimately, I want to scream at someone, or I want to cry. Those are the two emotions that I've been feeling quite a lot lately. And oh, good Lord, I'm aiming, striving, thriving, like to control those emotional body within myself. And like Fate, I love doing breath work. Breath work is my friend in regulating the nervous system. The befriending my nervous system is like my number one key right now. And um, interesting enough, when Tatiana shared about the green Tara energy, that's been on my field a lot. And I've been meaning to post it, but this is the resistance within me that's been dragging me down because I did not want to be judged by people, right? And sharing the love, sharing my gift, because there's some people's like, so what are you in religion? Are you Buddhist? Are you, like, I am who I am. And for me, my light language, it incorporates, like, again, multidimensional. It's not one or the other. It's combination of all, because we are all, and source is all. And I've been withholding and post. Yes, I did says like I will post once I get the codes. But I was like, the last part of the code, it is very much of the green tower energy. And I am not quite sure. I was not, but I am sure now that it is meant to be incorporated into the code of everything. Well, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
With
absolutely.
that, I'm
Thank you
complete.
both. Thank you both for sharing that frequency of green Tara. You mentioned breath work and just witnessing both of what you shared. It's like it has been a lot, and that's why I like love crystals. JJ mentions like you can just like pick up a crystal when you're feeling overwhelmed. So you'll see like I have 2 crystals that I use for the calls, and then like a labradorite too that's like in my bag that I keep just in case I need a 3rd crystal. Labradorite has been coming up on some of the calls, is like really supportive. But also what I've been noticing too is like we talked about like grace and space holding, showing up for one another, loving one another kind of through these, and really just like I've been noticing there is kind of like this collective frequency as we're all kind of experiencing this in the now moment, and everybody's like, things are very like dense at times, people are like very reactive. So I just want to kind of put out there to not like really take any of this like personally, you know, as a space holder, as like a healer, as like a light worker or a starseed, whatever verbiage feels most aligned for you. When you think about like I am, and then you say I am this, I am a healer, I am Fateboi, whatever, I am the embodiment of my highest self. You know, like really trying not to take these things personal. And for me, that's been a lesson that I've had to actually like learn how to embody, you know, because it's easy to say, hey, don't take these personal. It's a completely different thing for your human to like feel that in the now moment, for your human to have somebody like project onto like what you were sharing about religion, like my, you know, religion or my viewpoint, or I think I know what I'm talking about versus you and your spirituality. And like part of you wants to say, are you sure about that? Like in the most aligned way, do you really know what you're talking about? Do you actually know me? Like question mark, you know, like, so really just holding like space and grace, sitting in that like still point, in that 0 point. And I picture like Vincent as like just this like like this very divine, like anchoring, like, you know, really like of the earth frequency, where it's like you can sit in the quantum, in the 0 point, right? Whether it's in meditation, whether it's in breath work, whether it's in your channel. Yeah, Vincent, absolutely. And I would love to hear from you in just a second here, bro, if you're able to. But knowing yourself, knowing that authenticity, and then embodying that frequency, yeah, it may be triggering for some people. Yes, it absolutely, like when you are walking this path, when you are in that harmonization, when you're in that like the like attunement, when you are calibrated, yeah, it may be potentially like triggering to other people. I had a couple people come around me very recently, and then like absolutely just like get angry and lash out, and I'm like sitting in my 0 point, in my stillness, and then like in my human being, really just like holding space in the room, and I'm just like really just like so confused. I'm like, what exactly is happening? Like they're getting louder, right? And I'm like I'm like 5'9", 5'10", like ripped head to toe. You're not gonna just like, you know, barrel through me. I have a very loud voice. My frequency is very high. Nothing that you're gonna like say or do is gonna like intimidate me energetically or in the physical, you know. So really, it's about exactly what Vincent said. It's like being that, like showing up as your true embodiment, right? Knowing who are our soul friends, our soul family, who's got our back, who loves us, who's holding us down, who is there, who's going to show up for us. And like, I absolutely am so grateful for every single person on this call embodying that frequency, not just like by showing up to the Limitless Creators, because I think it's great. This is a Zoom call, but like showing up in your own personal life. I've met a lot of you in person, and it's been so amazing to be with you guys. And really, again, just like that deep gratitude, that deep love as we continue to walk this path of like harmonization, restoration, reclamation, like all the different things. So yeah, I'm complete for now. What else we got? I'd love to hear from anybody else if it feels aligned, or if we got reattacks.
I just have to say I love your share. I'm sorry that happened, but thank you for sharing that your viewpoint in that moment was just being super aligned and feeling so strong. Like just even hearing you say like, you know, I'm this tall and I'm ripped head to toe and I'm, you know, I felt strong hearing you say that. I was like, yeah, like I need some of that energy sometimes, just to not be afraid to stand in my own sovereignty and authority. So, and you are ripped head to toe. I have seen you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Like that is why I love like the frequency of the divine feminine weaving with the synergy of the divine masculine, you know, as within, so without. So when you have that inner union, you can embody that frequency of inner union. So it's a perfect third. So it's divine feminine, divine masculine, divine child, right? So you can do positive, negative charge, neutral charge, sacred thirds or perfect third frequencies. Absolutely. It's like in these tumultuous times, I guess if you want to call it, I don't necessarily feel it's tumultuous. This is this frequency that's happening, and Kelly Kalani talked about it too. When we're having like, very dense times, or when we're having like, this is a perfect time if you are aligned for like alchemy and quantum creation. Any energy that is sent at you, whether it's negative or positive, it's not good and it's not bad. You can use that energy, you can absolutely transmute it, and you can call in through the frequency of quantum manifestation, quantum creation. It helps if you are like, like we're talking about, it helps if you are absolutely harmonized. It helps if you are absolutely like attuned, calibrated. You have your daily spiritual practices to like support you. You have your friends who got your back, and when things get tough, you know that you can like, get on the fall. Like I was on a call yesterday, and we were just talking about a lot of the themes that have come up today. So I absolutely just want to witness that for you, that we're all doing the work. This work isn't easy at times, but it is very, very aligned, and it's very important that we get on calls together, and we anchor this architecture for the collective. We anchor these templates for the collective into Mama Gaia, into the grids, into the ley lines, and we activate those for the collective so they're available. So yeah, thank you so much.
Before we go, can I see your shirt? It's cracking me up, this whole
Oh yeah. It's safety third. It's funny because me and Lenny actually have matching shirts, and this is a hot spring that's like, I think it's an hour and a half away from us. And we got matching shirts to be on calls together, and I'm sure at some point we'll actually coordinate. Let me read what Christina said here. I've stopped asking, are you actually hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth, and just noticing without getting hooked into self-defense or whatever, and just radiate love, self-love, and it's okay that we're all doing our best and honoring where we are all at on our journeys, that we only know so much of it. There's space for all of us, more love, more space, less attachment. I love that. When honoring the flow, even when it's hot flashes and moodiness and feeling grouchy. There's something really beautiful about appreciating all of the different me's. I love that, Christina. I'm pretty sure I'm at least part human, also experiencing a lot of emotions. Woke up growling, so aggravated with my dream, making angry sound and asking, can I be done doing this loop? And surprisingly, I woke up. Whoa. Love that. Yeah, calling into completion all misalignment frequencies, all time loops, not only like the time loops, all like looping timelines, looping patterns, looping programs. We no longer have to learn things the hard way. That is the old architecture, the old matrix that has fallen away, that is being torn down before our very eyes. Calling that into completion in the now moment. It is done, it is done, it is done. And knowing that we are very multidimensional, we are fully activated, we are fully sovereign, we are completely free. And that is the purpose of getting online and witnessing one another and hopping in spiritual community. And knowing, not just like saying it, but like actually embodying that, so we can anchor that architecture in the now moment for the collective. Because it's great that we're all super activated and we're attuned and we're calibrated, but like, how about all of our other, friends, family members, brothers and sisters that are out there? Anything else I would love to hear? I don't know if anybody, like Aurora, Christina, Vincent. Knowing that I am is holding you in protection of the light. Yeah, so key. That I am frequency is so, yeah, thank you for saying that. Just sitting in that space, sitting in that grace, sitting in that love. Does anybody have any codes or light language they wanted to share with us before we close our space out? I feel like somebody has something. I'm not going to I definitely don't want to force you, but I've been working on the weaving, yeah. I think think I can share. This is her picture earlier. I'll share this picture just for the video so you can see. I think she's gonna. You're always doing some type of weaving, Christina. So I just want to witness you as like this very, very like galactic quantum like weaver in the 5D and also in the higher dimensions as well. So thanks for sharing that. All right. Well, I think we finished the slides. I put the slides into the chat. I'll put them into the Telegram as well. If you want to go back and journal on some of the prompts, feel free to share them in the Telegram or email me. I would love to chat with you about like some of the things that are coming up for you. Okay, she's taking a picture, so I'll download this and we'll share it. Yeah, I would absolutely be honored to witness you in all of that. Yeah, let's share this. So here's the picture she just shared. That's really cool on the black paper. And is that yarn? I'm guessing it's yarn or twine or colored string. It looks like yarn to me. I like the blue aquamarine, the different colors.
Yeah, it's
It looks like,
embroidery thread.
okay.
Because
Thank
that's
you.
all I can find. I know I have more other things, other places, but this one pack of different shades of blue is the only one I've been able to locate.
It's
Just
so cool.
rolling with that.
It looks like a pillar too. It looks like a pillar of light with like these different hues of like blue. Was there anything that you were like channeling or thinking about that you wanted to share while you're doing that weaving?
A lot of what you got, a lot of y'all shares really, like, and how they would resonate with me. And when you've been doing this for a long time, sometimes it's like I don't really know what to say, just that like, yeah, it's a journey and there were feels. And I really love right now, you know, but I appreciate all the music it took to get to now and all the learning new ways to love myself and show compassion and grace and know that I can make a difference, like with my mom's journey and her self-healing and love, and just by sharing how I am processing something or how I would receive something from her that I get that's not what she said, you know, but it's like I need some time to process this so I can actually understand where I'm coming from. And yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for your share, for all the weaving. Yeah, just letting that.
Yeah, the paper's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Like, how big is that piece of paper that we're looking at?
Like 8. I think it's like a normal sheet of paper. Actually, it's got to say somewhere. Yeah, 8.5 by 11.
Okay. Well, you are definitely a weaver on many, many different levels. So I'm gonna. Actually, does anybody feel? Play some music here. Does anybody feel called to close this out? Anybody want to close this out?
Yeah, can I share some of the light
Absolutely.
language?
Perfect. Please do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, just settle in into their present being at the moment. Let's breathe in. Inhale 3 and hold at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out with a sigh. Breathe in into your heart space, all the way up. Third eye, crown chakra, hold it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, breathe out with a sigh. One more time. In. Heart chakra. Third eye. Around. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let out. Big one. Ooh. And open up. Nihiyata kya tara kayata na kara tara ko kya tara okwa tana ka karayata ka okwa taraka akarayata ka okwa taraka rakaya akya tara watarya akarayata. We're integrating, recalibrating, weaving in. Kuatia kara tikia taraka, kara ya takia taraka, takia taraka, kira tikia taraka. We give thanks to our ancestors, give thanks to our inner child, give thanks to each other for being here, for ourselves, for showing up. Thank you to the Pachamama, to the inner child, inner earth. Let's remember who we are. Remember who you are. Us as a whole, as a hue being, different rainbows, mind, body, soul, emotion. Kiyata na kiyata arakuata kia. Akiyata ta ayata ah. Breathe in. Yararawa. Oh, and breathe out. No ayata na ayata ah. Yawata yata ayata kuata. Na ahata na ah. Oh, give ourselves a lot of love. Give ourselves a hug. Gentle tapping. Oh, you got yaka. Ayata tayata. Remember, stay hydrated. Give ourselves nourishment. Be kind to each other. Be kind to ourselves. With that, I am complete. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Natalia, for closing us out. Absolutely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sealing, before we close, though, I want to just always like to kind of call back in our intention that we started out with in the beginning. And if you forgot your intention, that's okay. Take time now to set another one. Calling that intention forward into your heart space and breathing that intention into your lungs, to the throat chakra, the higher heart, down into your heart. Remembering that your words are powerful, your intention is powerful. Yakato uti hina ataka ati yako ho to uti yaka 地秀国多罗地米拉嘎地西谢拉地秀好多尼拉阿地呀嘎地秀多。Thanking all our guides and helpers that stepped forward today. Elementals, dolphins, whales, dragon frequency was there for sure. Angelic frequency, all of our galactic families and councils, our higher selves, highest selves, oversouls, highest purest essence, the galactic children, our physical bodies, mental and emotional bodies. And just a plug for the grid play call tomorrow. Lenny typically hosts it. I think she's traveling right now, so I've been kind of subbing in when she's not able to get it online. But 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow is the Galactic Grid Play call. So looking forward, if that feels aligned, to weaving with you there. And then in the email, if you get a chance to read over the email, on the 27th of October, so in 2 weeks, we're going to be doing a pre-gridding call for Wood Sister Natalia and all of our friends that are heading to Egypt in November. So it's Aurora, Rachel, Melissa as well, and all of the other members of JJ's community that are going to be traveling. I think there is, she told me the number. It can't be any more than like 10 or 15. So I think it was 15, if I remember correctly. So in 2 weeks, would absolutely love to weave with you on that call. And yeah, just deep, deep gratitude to every single person here. Love you guys so, so much. Feel free to unmute.